Huskies, let's look at our second game for regionals qualifier. So first things first, the game quality might be a little bit less polished than usual, but that's okay. I really want to thank whoever was filming. It's because of everyone that helps us film that these are possible. So first thing is on the pull, we get a good centering pass over here. That's what we want to do. We want to get those free yardage, get it into the middle. Stack is taking a little bit long to get in there. By the time Stack gets there, we are catch, stall one, stall two, stall three, stall four, stall five. So Stack should probably start around here, maybe around here. But by the time the Stack sets up, we've already wasted 5 stalls, and now we have to look at our handler. And that was a foul, I remember. So one rule that we have to make sure is that if this is our person looking from a bird's eye view, the opponent cannot have their arms wrapped around us like this. They have to be marking with their hands away from us, not wrapped around as if they were trying to give us an awkward air hug. So this one is illegal. This one is legal. And if I look back to it, you could really see him start to wrap his hand in this frame. He basically is hugging Josh right there, and that can't be allowed. And that's probably what caused the foul. So I like that spirit of the game. Good job. Spirit of the game is the most important part about Ultimate Frisbee. No coaches, no refs, so we can't play if they're cheaters. So that was a good in cut. Let's see how it started. But by the time you catch it, the throw came a little bit off screen and then was caught here. So we gained yardage. One of the biggest mistakes that I see, for example, Chantal has been doing this rather often. She does a good in cut, but doesn't set up enough space. So she ends up catching it really close to the frisbee, not getting much yards. Every time we throw the frisbee, there's risk. So we want to manage our risk by making sure that we gain a decent amount of yardage with every one of our throws. So the handler is always deciding, oh, what is the risk reward of this throw? And if it's an early stall count, you are too close to the frisbee, and you're a player who currently struggles with their throws, the handler might be nervous about throwing it to you for such little yards, risk an incompletion, and risk being thrown back to, but the throw is off, leading to another incompletion. So one way we manage that risk is making sure that we hit the in cut for distance, not for a small amount. That one's a little bit scary, going for that backhand. Usually, we want to hit a flick as our handler runs up here. And as you can see, since it's floaty, the defender has a potential play on that. Luckily, he's not able to get it. Good job securing it. Based off of that layout attempt, I'm gonna assume this is E. So, great attempt. I'm not sure how close or how far that was. I'm assuming he wanted this continuation upline, but noticed that Vince was in the way of the cut, and so he went for a 7 cut. Josh is looking at it and tries to throw, but just an error. I did notice something in my periphery over here. So for the rest of the team, looking at, I believe this is Kendra. Kendra's doing a good job as the frisbee moves up. She consistently moves back, and she actually has an opportunity here to do an in cut. Then Blissy over here, I think this is Blissy, comes back to the stack. Good job coming back to the stack. And then I notice her take this open side cut. Really good cut. Pick right there. We can't. The team will call that on us. So Vincent, you're actually in the way here. So you basically stopped any throw going to the open side and any cut going to the open side. So after you throw it back, you should be making your way back into the stack, not looking for a throw. Because you stopped E's upline and you stopped Blissy's in cut. Okay, so whenever there's a turnover, so that's obviously a turnover, especially handlers or whoever's in the back, your first few steps should be going deep. So it looks like you didn't start running deep until this person went. Try to take initiative. You start moving deep as soon as there's a turnover. Okay, so my eye is getting caught by, I think it's Blissey. Oh yeah, this is Blissey, I believe. And you're doing a good shutdown defense. Nice stable body position, staying with your person. But one thing I want you to try to do, Blissey, especially if your player isn't very active or hasn't ever got the frisbee, I hope that you could turn your head around and help with team defense rather than just individual defense. What else could I see when you're playing defense here? It's a little hard to see what's happening over there. It looks like Kendra, I'm assuming because of the blonde hair, was able to shut down per person. Oh, okay, so it looks like he grabbed the frisbee. And Josh is over here pointing. It looks like he wants the frisbee. Throws out to the open space. This happens to work. And that's good. Careful about that, because if we look at it, where's the moment you catch it? You catch it on this foot plant. So now your feet look like this. And then you go into a long jump. I probably would call you on travel for that because you didn't do your long jump mid-air. You did your long jump when your foot was still on the ground. So make sure that with a team like this, they're not going to know the rules, honestly. But make sure that when reversing other teams that know the rule better, you be careful about that because rather than being able to take your 1-2 step and then end up around here, they're going to send you straight back over here. And you're going to lose any fast break opportunities made from this. I was watching this, and to me this looks like a strip, but I guess it was green because he didn't tell it. So one thing you could do to protect the frisbee is the defender's like this. You stepped this way to throw the frisbee, which allowed the person to get it really easily. If your defender's there, stepping here to throw will help protect the frisbee. Just like in basketball, we want to shield the frisbee and find angles where we could release without them getting a D. And I think it was just you not taking care of the frisbee that led to that turnover. And you didn't pivot. Also, E, you know how I feel about your frisbee being there. Remember, we want to be at home position, so we're always ready to throw. Yeah, just like Ross said, you're just being sloppy there. So it's really funny that they're set up like this. This is a terrible way to set up. So much congestion. This is a team that we should have, even if we put on a lot of sub players, as long as we have one player on our field who is much more experienced, this is a team we should have sweeped, if not given them 2 points at most. Just watching how they Okay, that's a really good handler motion. Like this is perfect. That's great. So, Josh, one thing that we could work on is how fast you're able to do your give and go. Because you throw it, and then you should be gone right now. But it takes you an extra second. Oh, double move. And just like Josh threw a break throw, making E layout, and it failed, he made Josh layout also. They're both good layout attempts.
Leslie, the second name is the continuation, not break. Okay, get back in the stack. Forget the John Doe part, just call the name. And somebody go break.
Is this our end zone play? Are we already at the end zone?
Mr. on next.
I called it.
Okay, so this is better, E. But as you faked that flick, you were always in your backhand. Look, this is your backhand grip.
Guys, it means cut to the open side.
Over there. So let's look at this up like that. Ooh, wait a minute. That person's being handsy. Those are potential fouls. Also, one thing I noticed, Josh, is you set up too close. You should set up farther so you have space to really run. Those are fouls. You could have hit this E. 5, 6. So Josh probably ran on a good moment. You could have delayed it a little. So the mark says 5, and then you start moving, Josh. Let's wait a moment more.
Guys, it means cut to the open side.
Not a great 7 cut. You end up going this way instead of going this way. And then
Guys, it means cut to the.
Is this an adequate? What's happening? Oh my gosh. Still too thick. It's too thin. There you go. Is this an adequate amount of space? Maybe. Actually, I think it is. It should be fine.
The open side. Anthony, it's supposed to be open side. It means cut to the open side. Guys, it means cut to the open.
But yeah, Vince, I wish you could have caught that, but also E, you threw it to his outside hand instead of into his body. So that's
Anthony, it's supposed to be open.
Great job. This player makes me laugh. This one right here. She's calling, here, throw it to me, but Kendra's all over him. Don't be this player. This player right here is not good for the team. Is not a good player. Does not understand the frisbee. Does not understand ultimate frisbee, obviously. So prime example of what not to do. Calling here when the defender is there, you're not moving. And then look at that arm team. Look at the frustration. This is why this player is a prime example of being frustrated you're not getting the frisbee when you don't have the skill to back it up. So yeah, I thought that was turnover. Vincent, this shouldn't. It was a weird throw. It's curving this way, but you don't let things like that catch those throws. And look at that flick. This team, we should have 210. Wait, I think the maximum we're allowed to get is 10 points over them, so we should have 212 them. This is not a team that should have got points on us.
For Josh. Oh, for Josh. For Josh. For Josh. For Josh. You record for me after? I'm on next. Oh,
Yeah, so that was a pretty good play.
I'm on next.
That's a good amount of distance, I'm assuming, from this player and Kendra. That's a potential deep throw. This is a good amount of distance between Vince and his person. Why are these cutters not getting hit? Handlers, why are you not throwing to these cuts?
I'm on
And
next.
these should be thrown too early. I should see the throwing motion happen now. When we call these pipe, the first thing you look at is the in cut. So you should be ready to throw that in cut as soon as it looks open. It's super blurry, but this doesn't look like the handler ready to throw. And then by the time it gets to Vincent, he'll be here. That's a lot of yardage. Or that doesn't work. Second, you look at the deep cut. But I don't see you looking at either. And then, why is Josh doing an upline cut now?
After.
Good job. How many stalls are
Can you record for me after? I'm on next.
It might be a late stall count. So, good cuts by Kendra and Vincent. But why are these cuts happening on... I'm going to assume that Josh is cutting on stall 5. Why are we starting our cuts on stall 5? By that time, it's the handler's responsibility. So we had an amazing in cut, an amazing deep cut, but all for naught. Even this upline is open. 3 open cuts, and none of them get hit. And it turns into a Hail Mary that's a turnover. From a team that should 2-12 them to our 10s to 7, I believe. This is the reason why players as good as you all are not getting the 2-12. We can't allow these amazing cuts that we've been working so hard on to be wasted off of timing. Good cut by Kendra. Good cut by Vincent. Good cut by Josh. And it doesn't get hit. It's such a weak
I'm on
mark.
next.
Not even a good mark. And then I don't blame Blessy for not getting that Hail Mary. Of course, athleticism is important. But timing from our cutters is so important. And E, you have to be able to hit that. So Josh gets a D. And Kendra is so open. I believe this is her person. This is Kendra. Beautiful deep cut. How was that set up? I want to find where Kendra is. So Kendra's over here. Her person's over here. Josh just got the D. And Kendra starts walking and sees the opportunity, takes it. Beautiful. So that's what we call a fast break rather than organizing our defense. Especially when a handler like Josh catches the frisbee, we don't try to set up, we go into a fast break. But if we block it rather than catch it, it would be nice to go through to organize into our stack. But the handler caught the frisbee. Kendra did the right thing to go. And then it looks like Kendra was running this way, and then the frisbee curled this way. I'm exaggerating, but the frisbee curled like that. So, good cut by Kendra. Nice look by Josh. Just a slight misexecution. There's no problem with that. If we're losing because of slight misexecutions like that, that's okay. That just means more practice. We'll get there. But what I saw earlier with 3 great cuts and them not being hit and turning into a Hail Mary, that one is not acceptable. So we need to learn what is an acceptable mistake, what is okay for our team to be messing up on, and what is not okay for our team to be messing up on. And this is a great example of an okay mess up.
Our defense, they want to Emmanuel, before you call pipe, look at who's there, please.
If someone dives and they catch him, would you give $5?
I give money for layout.
No, those are layout Ds.
Shut somebody out.
If you want money, you gotta get a bit more athletic.
Don't get broken.
Why not layout?
Don't get broken. They want to go look. Who's on this person? No break. No,
Okay, so the frisbee's over there. It's about in the middle. Kendra is in the good position. Whatever. Anthony's chasing his person. I don't know who's here. Blissey, I want you to come a little bit more out, especially since in the stack, your person is further behind. So let's pretend the X's will be our opponent. There's 5 people in a vertical stack. The frisbee's over here. Let's make ourselves purple. So where Kendra is, the front of the stack, the person has to be tight on their person. But then the second, third, fourth player, right now, Blissey is tight on the person. But where I want you to be is a little bit looser. So you're like here, here, here. Instead of Blissey, you being so close to your person. And then this back person is like here. So only the front person has to play tight. Everyone else, when you're defending vertical, you could be much more loose.
no break. No break.
Wait, who's defending this person?
Yeah,
Oh,
They wanted to move.
it looks like it's Josh. Josh right now doesn't notice that his player is making a cut over here. Notices.
No break.
Follow.
No break.
What I like, even though Josh lost focus and this person got away, he's not over pursuing this person to the break side.
Break.
He knows that this person is much more likely to get it going through the open
No
side.
break. No break. No break. Up.
And then that's a bit of a freak accident. If that was on purpose, it's great throw by their handler, but I don't think it was on purpose.
Stick it tight.
So that call, take your time, doesn't apply to the handlers usually, especially with handlers like Josh and JP and E who have been working on their ability to do domination. I don't think that's a great call.
Stick it tight.
That's a great get and go. I think
Stick it tight.
so. Usually this is not a throw to Anthony, but because of the position of the defender, if E was to just throw it into this general area and have Anthony run to it, I think that would work. But usually, Anthony, you need to clear out. You should have set up in the middle and then cut out of the stack. Instead, you're clogging the lane. In this particular instance, though, I think I would have thrown this. And I don't know why it turned into a bad. But now this is Anthony, get out. Anthony, you're dancing in the open lane. Absolutely not your problem. You have to leave. This is an unacceptable mistake. You need to get into the end zone. Good job, Josh, clearing out, making sure that E has a chance to hit here and here. If Josh, you play up here, or who is this? I don't know. Is this Vincent? I think that's Vincent. So I like the fact that you're behind the play because it pulls your defender out and really allows, like, look at this big space. If I'm E, I'm looking at this space and whoever cuts there, I'm throwing. Which is exactly what happened.
Oh my god. Oh my
So
god.
I believe that's Bliss C. So Bliss C, you come around, that's fine. And then you cut to the open side, which is good.
Oh my
And you have space on your person, but because now, as a handler, what do I see? I see a bit of a forest. I don't want to throw there. Remember, as cutters, we don't want to set up forest situations for our handlers. We want them to see a single tree standing in a desert because that is so obvious to hit. But because of Anthony's mistake, Blissey is not going to get hit. Instead, in these tough situations, our experienced players are going to be looking for the experienced players. And that's because they've built an avenue of trust and they've built up that skill to be able to rely on each other. So it's those mistakes of setting up a tree, of setting up a forest that doesn't allow certain players to get as many touches as we can. We're going to be working on that so that we could level out our team. A team that has a floor and a ceiling that's close to each other does much better than a team that is so lopsided. But if you're not receiving the frisbee, you have to understand that there's a certain amount of there's a level of skill and trust that you have to build before you start getting thrown to, especially in games like this that matter.
Beautiful.
Damn. That was hot.
Nice play.
Fuck, my finger covered. I literally just had to body his ass.
Okay, Josh, or anyone, tell me what is supposed to happen here.
That was hot. Fuck, my finger covered. I literally just had to body his ass.
If I'm Josh, I'm calling a turnover right here. They are not allowed to do that. This person picked it up and dropped it on purpose. That means this is a turnover and that we should be trying to get a point. Let's say we're being nice. At least he has to go back and start there. When the frisbee lands in the end zone, they have to play it from that spot. Don't let them bring it up to the end zone line. Pretty good mark, but where are we? Sideline. What are you protecting? Why are you protecting the sideline? Doesn't make sense. Go a little bit flatter. Oops, that's too much. Go a little bit flatter. Still no backhand, but he's trying to throw a backhand. He threw a backhand. Why are we letting them throw backhands here? This team should have been 0-10. Guys, the fact that they got 7 is slightly embarrassing, actually. That's not a bad cut by the person, actually. That's an upline, that's not bad. I'm noticing that they're not even tall. Usually our Achilles heel is the fact that the team is taller than us. These people look the exact same height as us.
No break.
Marys.
No break.
You let 7 points go with handlers like that.
Yeah, just on the road.
That's why no break. That's why you don't break.
Back on my sexy man.
Come on, let's go move that fat ass.
Make space!
Bro,
Move that fat ass, bro. You said go behind
this is
you.
gonna be the worst video just because of the audio.
Stay there.
Don't worry, guys. Here. Just having the video is fine. Not a good cut. Chris, talk to your brother. Ask him how to play. Ask him how you play. Now you're clogging. Wait, Kendra, I actually think you were stopped there. Yeah, you're stopped there. That's not good. Good job clearing out. Perfect. So, Kendra, I like the fact that you took your cut, realized that you were getting shut down, and then bailed out early. A lot of times, let's say the handler is over here, right? What Kendra did is she did her cut, realized she was shut down, went back to the stack. Beautiful. Let's say here's the handler. What a lot of players do is they run all the way basically beside the handler, and then they clear out. This is not good. So, good job. I guess it turned into a hero. I'm not sure if Jaron was doing an in cut or if this is just a hit. But
Stay there.
stall 1, stall 2, stall 3, stall 4, stall 5, stall 6, stall 7. Yeah, I don't know where our cuts necessarily are. I think you're doing pipeline. I think it mostly got ruined because of that.
Wow, commitment.
Chase him, Joe.
Okay, so Josh, right now you're doing Flamingo. Flamingo is an amazing way to mark on frisbee players that know how to throw. So what I mean by Flamingo is, let's do a bird's eye view. This is their player. We're gonna be in purple over here. So Flamingo is when your hands are out like this. Remember how I said you're not allowed to wrap your hands? We're basically doing the opposite. Flamingo is an amazing way to mark on players that are really good at throwing. But on a player like this, we should just do our normal flat arms. Oops. We should just be doing our normal flat arms when we mark this person. On players that are not good handlers, or not as good, flat legal arms are good. On players who are really good at throwing, especially those throwing through your pockets, above your shoulders, through your armpits, Flamingo is a much better way of marking them.
Chase him!
Get Chris!
Jack, come on, Jack.
Nice forcing flag!
Good defense.
Jaron's a gentleman.
So what I like is that you're really preventing him from going to the open side. And as he goes to the break side, you're like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. I trust my teammates that they're not going to let a frisbee go to this side unless they're throwing it exactly horizontally. So this is why we play team defense. If Chris was going flat, that means Josh doesn't know which side to stop. But because he knows which side to stop, and he trusts Chris to not let the break, it's so much easier to defend. And now, as this player starts going to the break side, you see that Josh starts looking to that open side like, oh, what's he gonna do? Maybe I could get a poach.
Nice forcing flag!
This is a great example of good team
Jaron's a
defense.
gentleman.
Nice forcing
And
flag!
then someone over there is also
Jaron's a gentleman.
they're doing a good job staying with the person. I can't tell who that is with the
Yeah. Ball break. Jaron's a gentleman.
and Jaron comes flying out. Gets the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy!
That's just sucking.
Hey, strike Andrew!
I wonder what they're saying in the strike. Yeah, Chris, you have to be over here. You're way too close to the handler. I'm guessing it's a pipeline. Okay, good job getting that, Jaron. Josh, that frisbee is too high and not going far enough. So I'm sure you know that's probably a missed throw and that Jaron will Oh. Meanwhile, after Jaron bails you out, he also throws you into the dirt. Jaron, we need to fix your flick. And also that look, you go pump throw. We don't do that. Don't pump a fake throw. Don't pump fake a throw and then throw it right after because that leads to turnovers.
I was so cool I mean, at least you went for it. Yeah, it would have been nice. But it was a good attempt.
Yeah, that was really nice. And I'd love to see more of our players start to develop that. And I'm so happy that a lot of our girls are also starting to show interest in learning to lay out. Esther showed interest in learning how to lay out. Thea's showed interest. And as we start to build that culture of learning how to do these moves and become more athletic and be a really smart team, that's when we're going to really start to shine. And exactly, we cut down, make sure that we capitalize on their mistakes. Kendra calling the stack, perfect. The other handler being over here. Push this way slightly, but I like the fact that you're behind the frisbee.
Jordan Kendra!
Okay, so Jenna and Kendra, we have a few people lagging. They should be. Oh, that's actually the opponents. That's fine. Let's look at Kendra first. So this is a great example of having our girls ISO at the start. So Kendra goes for this open side, and let's look at the communication. So this is on-field, non-verbal communication. Kendra goes to the open side like we practice, and Josh pump fakes. Why do we pump fake? We pump fake to communicate. We could also do it to get defenders to bite, but it's communication at first. So Josh pump fakes. Kendra immediately slows down. Good breaking mechanics, chop chop, turns the hips, sprints to the other side, leaving her defender in the dust. And Josh rewards her athleticism and understanding of Frisbee with the point. Slightly dicey because you threw it, because Josh threw it and Kendra had to stop. So ideally, I want to see Kendra catching it in her running motion, not in this motion. But thankfully, the cut created enough separation that there was leeway. Also, I want to comment on this beautiful pivot. Look how far, slight travel. Yeah, a little bit of a travel. That's okay. Most people won't call that. But great pivot, getting low, getting far. That's good Frisbee. This back foot though, we need to work on this back foot. Getting on the toe rather than the side. And then final person involved was Jaron.
Jaron just understands the game like no one else.
Jordan, Kendra!
So nice. So looking at Jaron at the back of the stack, he does a little pump fake, jab step over here, and you actually see that it gets his defender to slightly bite, and he creates separation. Okay, I actually think Josh would have thrown to both Kendra and Jaron if it was only them. So both players were nice, pretty open, but because of the concept of creating a forest, whenever a handler sees a forest, they don't want to throw into it. They don't know what monsters are hiding in the woods. So, because both of them cut to the open side, that caused Josh to, instead of throwing it, pump fake. And then I like Kendra's reaction better than Jaron's reaction. Because the longer you stay in that open area, Jaron. Yeah, now Jaron, you're just standing there. Absolutely not. I thought it just took a while for you to get out of your cut, but now you're just standing. Kendra's reaction to the pump fake is way better than Jaron's. Because you're never getting to Frisbee in this situation. But that first initial setup move is good. It's just the fact that you both went the same way. Ideally, let's say Josh called.
Jaron's just a better player. Jaron just understands the game like no one else.
Jordan, Kendra!
So he calls Jaron and Kendra, but whoever is in front of the stack, they move first, and whoever's at the back of the stack has to move off of them. So, as Jaron, I would wait, see that Kendra move to the open side, and cut to the right. And you hear our sideline saying, why are they running the same way?
Jaron's just a better player. Jaron just understands the game like no one else.
Jordan, Kendra!
Jordan, Kendra!
So you had to wait there. Yeah, there's a double team there. Make sure you're able to call those Kendra. Oh my gosh, 24. I would be so upset at you if I was your coach. You left them alone. And Josh got the easy point because of it. I don't know how far in the game we are. I don't know how demoralized they could possibly be. But once again, we should be 10-0ing.
I forgot to zoom in.
It looks like we're doing a horizontal. This looks really good.
Damn. Damn.
Beautiful move by Pat. So I can't see what the others are doing. But this skin makes a realistic, viable cut going in and then goes deep. Should be fun earlier. The Frisbee right now. Josh, remember, option 1 is break, open, deep. And you could look at either 1 or 4. So you look, I don't know where the break cut was. Not in screen. But the play is go deep right away, but you're fully allowed to make those jab step and those 2-step moves. How many steps was this? Negative step, 1, plant, go deep. Beautiful. I draw out a play for you guys, which is, what do we call it? Sun, cycle, diamond. I don't care. I don't know. I drew out the play for you, but those extra small moves help a lot. That jab step that we saw from Jaron, this commitment cut, this 2-step commitment cut from Patrick. You're allowed to do those because it takes a small amount of room and could get you really open. So this is beautiful. And then look, you could see number 9 in the background starts going deep and then gets all twisted up as Vincent does his in cut. Vincent, do you have your cleats yet? Oh. Not bad running mechanics. Definitely need to polish it up, but not really bad. But look how open he is. Josh, you have to hit this earlier. So you wind up now. You should have wound up now. This is when you wind up for the throw. And he should be catching it now. But instead, you're winding up when he should have been catching it. And even if he caught it, that's not much distance at all. That risk to reward ratio that I was talking about is thrown out the window when you throw to people too close on their in cuts. We need to throw early. We need to get open early for the cutters and throw early as the handlers.
Unlucky.
He's gotta know when to catch. Stop, Josh, that's all you do.
Joshy!
He's gotta know when
You
to
know how to
catch.
handle?
Stop, Josh, that's all you do.
Joshy!
He's gotta know when to catch.
So let's look at the
Unlucky.
player that Josh is guarding. This player over here.
He's gotta know when to
Look at him beg. Look at him beg and cry for the frisbee. But will he ever get the frisbee? Actually, as a handler, I might throw it to this space and tell him to go there.
catch.
Immediately Josh recovers, so he probably would defend that. But look at this player beg and cry for the frisbee. And this player sees him and he obliges. Once again, a prime example of what not to do as a frisbee player.
Stop, Josh, that's all you do.
Joshy!
Vincent! Pat! Vincent!
Like that. So E is open, throws it to E.
Pat!
Thea does that continuing cut. Great timing. So Thea sees that E got the frisbee, and as soon as she sees that, goes for that upline cut.
Pat!
But then is a little bit too far. So an execution error. This is acceptable. We're always going to accidentally drop it. We're always going to accidentally throw it a little bit too far. As we get better and better, the chances of that gets less and less, but it'll still happen. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And then good job E picking up.
Oh, that's all. Vince! Vincent!
Patrick, do the play. Horizontal. Get in your step.
Literally went like-
They're calling something?
Oh, they
Literally
call
Running.
Maybe
you should have done it.
Running.
Oh, that's all.
Don't get broken, Vincent.
We're making a stack.
Yeah, it's not. Okay.
Don't get broken.
It's like 24 degrees outside. No, it's not. There's no way it's 24. Anyone says they're
I thought so. That not the best defensive position. I like E's defensive position. Kendra's defensive position is okay. Pat's
No, it's not.
not the best.
There's no way it's 24.
Who is this? Is this Sobel or Esther? Esther has her own jersey, right?
No break, Vic.
Looks like Esther. Not a good position, Esther.
No, it's not.
Oh, this is okay, but I'd rather you be slightly more. So just one step back.
No, it's 24.
And then over here, terrible. You're on the wrong side. You have to be over here. I see.
No, it's not.
I see
There's no way it's 24.
behind. Pretty good. Take a step slightly to your right. Okay, and then here you're in front. That's not good. You have to be more over here. So take a step to your right.
No break, Vic.
And then I see Josh. I don't see his person, so that's a good tether. That's a good rope, especially since he's guarding the person at the back of the stack.
It's on.
Yeah, and is rewarded with a D.
Good turnover. Emma. Oh, no, no, no.
Good flow. Great flow.
Emma. Good
So
turnover.
he hit him.
Emma.
He
Oh,
moves up the field.
no,
Back
no.
pedals a
no.
little. That's fine. In that situation, it's fine. There's no person on you, so milking it with a back pedal is okay. Not my favorite, but I remember there was one time where Kendra was backpedaling, and I said absolutely not to her, but that was because the context was there was a person with her. In this context, Thea is absolutely by herself, so it's okay. Still not my favorite. I'd rather you be running with your body opened up on the shoulder.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh, and then I remember
Nice.
a little too far again. Though that's just a skill thing. We need to polish that up. I'm much more concerned about execution and timing and skill and knowledge rather than execution. Execution errors will always be okay mistakes.
Oh. Oh, man. Broach. Right.
Losing a point because of that. So that is the first point that I don't know. Have you shown me them getting points in these clips? But that's a point that is acceptable. That is okay. That's a fluky point. It's a 3-on-1. The turnover happened because of a slight execution error, not because of an inherent play mistake or you're clogging or you're doing something bad like that.
Good turnover.
Like, everyone starts moving this way, right?
Emma.
Everyone's moving there.
Oh, no, no, no.
Or setting up the stack. Kendra, I love the fact that you are over here, and anything that the handlers want to do around the sideline or centering it, if you're over here, that would be a mistake. But remember that concept of the frisbee being on one side, the stack has to be more closer to the opposite side. That's what Kendra's exemplifying here. Even Esther being in the middle is okay.
Oh.
And I love that Esther is moving back as the frisbee advances. Kendra is moving back as the frisbee advances. I'm assuming that the other players are moving back. This is so much more progress of, how does the stack flow and move as the frisbee moves? That's so much more progress than we've had in the past. But because of this,
Oh, man.
we give them a point. Acceptable.
Right.
Manuel, shake it off.
Yeah, and whoever said that, thank you. Team culture is a huge part about team sports, and learning how to be a team player is huge. If I heard something like, Emma, you suck, or something negative that had no purpose, there's no point of putting people down for no reason and for silly mistakes, especially if you're saying it to the person. As a team, we have to make sure that we're not making comments, even snarky ones. For example, player A, why are you bad at throwing? Because, I don't know, not the best example, but saying that isn't very encouraging. We want to be encouraging. We want to help people stay in a good mindset. And when people, do you remember last year, we had a few players that were extremely toxic. Kendra approached them and was telling them off. We have no room in a team sport, especially something like Ultimate Frisbee, where spirit of the game is so important, for players like that. So Thank you for that comment.
The turbulence is insane. It's off. Oh yeah, daddy. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. It's
I'm not
off.
sure who's saying that, but okay.
The turbulence is insane. The turbulence is.
What's happening here? Oh, okay. So E and Josh are putting some kind of handler wedge because their handlers are grouped up together.
The turbulence is insane.
But then E, you let a backhand, or yeah, it looks like you let a backhand go. We can't be letting that happen.
It's off.
And then Pat gets that D.
Oh yeah, daddy.
He almost
Oh
gets
my
it.
god. Turbulence is
Pat
insane.
wins.
It's off.
Actually, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Just
daddy. Oh my god.
get a bit
Oh
of
my
it.
goodness. Oh my god.
Okay, so where is their defender? Why is E by himself? But
Oh.
actually, E, that's a mistake. In wind, this could be taken away, and because it's floaty,
Oh my
Look.
god.
exactly what I was gonna say. Because it's floaty, there's a strong chance that someone comes in and makes a play. And let's say, I know game one that we don't have video of, they were a very aggressive team. They hurt JP, they hurt Pat. I don't know if they hurt anyone else. But if this was game one, that team had no ethics. They would body Josh and injure him. So we cannot be throwing lofty throws like that. Not because I don't trust Josh going up to get it, but because someone else might come up and get it, which isn't the end of the world. What's the end of the world is my players getting hurt for no reason. And those lofty throws caused a spinal for Eugene, caused JP's ankle. I've caused Esther getting hurt during practice. There's so many injuries that I see because of throws like this, which is not a good throw frisbee-wise and not a good throw health-wise.
It's off. It's off.
And then Josh also a little bit
If
too
you
hard.
drop this, I swear to God.
Great job by Pat. But your throw got compensated by the catcher's ability. So E, your bad throw got compensated by Josh. Josh, your bad throw got compensated by Pat. I call them bad. They're not terrible, but for handlers of your caliber or of what is going to be your caliber, those are not good throws. There's a lot I went through today. I know I was really, really harsh. I've heard stories of game one, and frankly, I was disappointed to hear not about the loss, but about how we lost. And it just shows that we have to increase our team chemistry. We have to increase our floor. And there's a couple things from our top four that I need to pick out. We'll get through that in practice. Ask me them individually. And we need to film these. For whatever reason, I'm not going to say exactly why, but we've lost our old camera person due to people saying things that they shouldn't have. And now if we want to continue having these film breakdowns and the ability for you to come back in the future and watch yourself play, which I wish I had, it's now going to be up to the players to film so that I could help all of you by breaking it down and so that you have this archived. Anyways, good job with game two. This coming tournament, I don't want to hear any complaints about playtime from the best players or from the weakest players because different games have different goals. And let's keep winning our other games, but win them properly. I don't want to win them for the wrong reasons.